Hello, ladies and gents. It's Raju, your Siddha coach, Siddha success coach. Just wanted to. I found another spot. Look at this. It's so beautiful. I want you to just check it out. Isn't that amazing? And by the way, this is my first time. I'm just on a beautiful, right? That's the sun right behind me. Oh, I'm glowing. Look at that. Yeah. So, I wanted to kind of start off where I left. Things are getting pretty exciting. There's a lot of topics I really want to talk about, but I wanted to kind of get back to trying to figure out the best way to get out of corporate slavery or failed entrepreneurship. Again, I'm talking to those people that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s maybe too. You know, it's never too late to start. And you know, you have a feeling of being stuck. You have a feeling of, you know, the feeling that you haven't done enough, and the feeling that you lived a selfish life, the feeling that, you know, you could have done more, the feeling of regret. I wish I could have done this, I could have done that. All of these are the same feelings. They stem from that unfulfilled desires, kind of body of you know, thinking that we have, right? We all want to do something special, we all want to do something good, but somehow we end up not doing it. And one of the main reasons we end up not doing it is because we follow the herd, and we basically follow the herd. And when we follow the herd, you just end up doing a corporate job, or you start a business without putting enough thought into it. Somebody tells you to do this, or somebody, you know, just gives you an idea, and you think it's a great idea, and you follow the herd, and you end up doing something that you really didn't want to do. And that's the whole point, right? You know, the point is, why do you do that? So let me just go back a little, rewind. So what we talked about initially was very simple, right? We talked about how we're going to use Siddha success principles to get ourselves out of this fix. How are we going to get ourselves out of this fix? There are principles and there are obstacles, right? So we got to really be very clear about what the principles are and what the obstacles are. We'll talk about obstacles briefly later today, but let's talk about the principles. The principles that I talked about are Icha, Kriya, Gnana and Yoga, which is purpose, action, knowledge and symbiosis. So we talked about that, but you know, just to give you a brief thing, you know, if you don't, you always have to have a purpose in life, and then the action that you are going to do with this particular purpose in mind will give you the knowledge. And then you get into a symbiosis where it becomes a cyclical cycle, and you kind of improve yourself. It's called the cycle of improvement, right? In our, you know, corporate day language. So the other principle is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. We also talked about that very briefly. Dharma is righteousness. It's morality. I also got a great definition for it. It's actually sustainability. Something that's sustainable is dharmic. Then you have artha, which is livelihood, and what you do for a living, and this is what you're offering to the world is, and that's what you get compensated and get rich with, right? And then you have karma, which is sexual energy. You can harness it in many ways, but it's also the energy that you're going to use to drive you into this particular goal that you set. Right, it's basically trying to harness your energy, use the sexual energy, which is your battery that's going to go run. And then moksha, which is liberation from slavery, liberation from all these stupid obstacles that we put ourselves into, right? That's what it is. So how, the biggest question then becomes is, what is my purpose? That's the big challenge, you know. It's not an easy thing, but we have to take a stab at it. One thing about purpose is that purpose to find, you know, I've had this feeling in my own life, and I've talked to many people, is like, the biggest question is, what am I meant to do? It's almost like somebody scripted something, But honestly, it's not that complicated. From Guru Pashupati, my Guruji, clearly the biggest problem in your life to solve that is your purpose. And the second component is, don't be selfish with your purpose. Include other people in it. So that's the second component of trying to find your purpose. And when you do that, what happens is your purpose has got more oomph, more reach, and it's all about just trying to figure out what is it that you can do to not just help yourself but help more people than yourself, right? It could be your family plus something, or it could be society, it could be anything. And I mean, if you just think about a simple answer is when Steve Jobs created a smartphone, it was not like, hey, what can I do that'll help my life? It was like, what can I do that can change people's perspective and make their life easy? And you know how the iPhone is such a beautiful instrument now, and you can use it for multiple things. The smartphone has become a part of our culture, and he has created so much value, but unfortunately his motives also were selfish, and he did not realize how his health was important, and for whatever reasons his health got unfortunately compromised, and he passed at a very young age, right? So going back, simply put, you got to find a better reach and solve the biggest problem. Those are the two big components. And the third thing as a solution to all the problems is, it's very important to understand where you are. One of the things is you got to have context about everything in life, right? So what does that really mean? Context is, where am I right now? What am I doing? Who am I with? These are very important questions that you really need to ask. And that's the GPS location start point. And we talked about it. Just going to take another good 360 right here. It's beautiful. I'm going to walk back on that side. So you have to really get your GPS location going. So you really have to be honest about who you are. And what it means is, it's not just who you are, but what are you really feeling? And honestly, when you ask this question very honestly, because the challenge is to be really truthful to yourself, but we have all the narratives and all these things that we have learned, and we just tell lies to ourselves, right? So what do you really feel? I think there's, simply put, there's three things you can feel. Either you feel like a victim, number one. Number two, you feel like a villain, or you feel like a hero, right? And no matter what, this works for any professional situation you are in. What do you feel? And once you understand what you feel, and most likely, most of us, we all feel like victims. So we are going to understand the feeling of being a victim. The feeling of being victim is so pervasive in society nowadays. It's like ridiculous, right? You just think about it. We all feel like victims. We all are blaming other people. It's a blame culture and a victim culture. You're saying, hey, my business partner screwed me over. My boss is an asshole. My parents didn't provide enough for me. My brother does all this by himself and he does not include me. All kinds of victim narratives that you have in your mind. You could also be extremely successful and unhappy too, right? So I'm trying to cater to those people also. I know a lot of people that are successful who are making a lot of money, but they're not happy. Why are they not happy? Because they also feel in some way that they can contribute more, but they're not able to do it. And that's what we really need to kind of understand in terms of how we are feeling. What are we feeling? I feel like a victim. I feel, like a person who has so much to offer, but I'm not touching my full potential. I feel I have so much to offer the world, but somehow I've not got the opportunity. People don't respect me. I am stuck in this kind of closed, boxed environment. I don't feel free to do things, and those things to help me grow as a human. And those things could be realistic, practical things like you have to support your family, you have to do the job, and those are all things that are important. So, who am I is very important, and these are all the kind of feelings that you want to really verbalize and write, and that's your first step. Second step is, what am I doing? And you just write what you're doing. You're doing things that are not exciting. I'm just spending time just crunching numbers on Excel. I'm spending time coding. I'm spending time creating presentations. I'm spending time just listening to all these management people that have no clue what's happening. All that stuff, write it down. Who am I with? And that's what matters, right? It could also be I'm with a spouse that does not understand me and my frustrations. I'm with a parent who does not understand my frustrations and what I am all about. And these are all things that are people who are within your circle, inner circle, your work and your family and your friends. And those people impact you, and you also have the same narrative in your mind, as to what it makes you feel. Again, going back to the thing, does it make you feel like a victim? Number one. Does it make you feel like a villain? Number two. Does it make you feel like a hero? Number three. So these are very, very, very important things. And the third question is, where am I? It's all about your environment. You figure out what your environment is. Are you in like a box situation in an apartment, no access to nature? Then you got to write about it. I feel stuck in this apartment, or then or I'm in a place where there's too much pollution, too much noise, too much distractions, too much stimulation. All of those things matter, because the question you're trying to answer is, what are all the elements that are playing out in your circle of life when it comes to who you are, what you're doing, who you're with, and also where you are, right? So these are all very important things, and honestly, it'll all kind of get boxed into whether you feel like a victim or whether you feel like a hero, or whether you feel like a villain. And sometimes people villainize you too, right? You say this guy is bad and all of that stuff, and they make you feel that way too. So these are all very important things. But once you have all of this taken care of and written down, then the magic begins. So we'll talk about that more, but I wanted to really give you some solutions on how to figure out your purpose and your current location. And we need to really go deeper down into how we can get this properly taken care of from a Siddha principle standpoint. And again, I'm going to start talking about obstacles. There are lots of obstacles that we corporate slaves and failed entrepreneurs have, right? What are the obstacles? I'm going to just talk about them very briefly, but even just mention them, but we'll have different shoots on those too, right? Fear. Now, fear is such a big thing. What is fear, and I'm going to talk a lot about what is fear, and we all feel that fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown is like really one of those fears that is probably number one on the list of fears, right? Obviously fear of death, all of those come to picture, but fear of unknown really sucks the energy out of you, and what it does is it basically cripples you. You are not going to move a step forward because you're in a state of fear. Okay, number one. Number two, imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is one of those things where you feel like, oh God, people think I'm all this XYZ, blah, blah, blah. You know, I can do this, I can do that, but I struggle doing all of this. I'm just trying to keep up. I'm just trying to fake it till I make it. Isn't that one of the most popular things? They say, fake it till you make it. You know what? It's actually not the right thing to do. You should have the confidence to do it. And all of these are indicators of inadequacies. And I'm going to talk about that briefly. But again, to sum it all up, what we are trying to do is we are trying to get unstuck. And we have templates in terms of how we want to do this. We talked about the modalities, and we talked about purpose and how to find it, and we also talked about how to get your GPS point where you are right now. But I'm going to get back to you with some more interesting topics in the future. Stay tuned. This is Raju, you said the coach. Take care, have a great day.